All right, guys, I want to make this quick video for you about not letting your bias get the best of you, okay? I took a real big loss 3 days ago. And, you know, I was so long biased on this stock. It was a recent IPO. It was near the all-time highs. We've had probably 5 or 10 newer IPO stocks that dumped off and then came back and broke all-time highs and just ripped nasty, right? So, you know, I thought Tuesday was the day. And, you know, I was checking it on the chart and I'm like, yeah, this thing, it's probably going to be a repeat pattern, right? So as price is coming into a support level, I start buying. It broke that support level, so I started adding at the next support level. And, you know, in my mind, I was justifying it as, yeah, I'm going to average in because this thing is going to rip near the mid-end of the day, like so many of these other ones have. But in reality, I was adding to a loser. You know, when I started scaling in at the first support level and it broke down, I should have got out with a tiny loss. But instead, you know, I did what I tell you guys not to do, and I added to a loser, and, you know, I paid big for it. Okay, it was the biggest loss I've had in the whole year, you know. And what really sucks is that 2 days later, the stock did break the all-time highs, and it did rip crazy. And, you know, that's what happens. But I'm making this for you because I want you guys to remember that if you are scaling in at a support level and price breaks down, get out. Just protect yourself and get out, okay? Now, thank God I was able to get most of it back, you know, throughout the rest of the week, trading well and just sticking to the rules, right? But the reason I took that big loss is because I broke the rules, okay? And, you know, one of my rules is don't add to a loser. And, you know, when I did that, I broke the rules and I let my bias get the best of me. I thought I knew what was going to happen. I was so sure of it, but guess what? It didn't happen. Now, sure, it happened 2 or 3 days later, but, you know, how deep you're going to go in the hole, you know? I'm the one holding the shovel. Either I could keep digging the hole or I could just get rid of the shovel and stop the bleeding, right? So that's what I did. I made most of it back and I'm not really worried about it, but I want you guys to understand that if you're too biased on a stock, that can kill you, all right? Because as traders, we get paid to trade probabilities, right? So my probability was it was going to bounce at this level, and I started scaling in right there. I saw buyers step up, but it got slammed. And, you know, more than likely it was market makers accumulating at lower prices to send it to the moon a few days later, which is what happened, right? And it does happen. So the best way to get out of those positions is just when you recognize you're wrong, get out and come back another day on that ticker or, you know, on that setup. So, yeah, don't let your bias get the best of you, and don't break the rules, guys, because when you break the rules, you're going to pay for it. All right. Sometimes you get lucky, but, you know, we don't trade on luck. All right, we trade on probabilities. And once the probability was not in my favor and I kept adding to my position, that was very poor trading, and it cost me. All right, it cost me basically a whole week's worth of trading because I got most of it back, minus just a couple dollars, but it took me almost a whole week to get that loss back, right? So it's real important that you guys keep a clear mind, and if your trade is not working out, if your thesis of your support level is not holding up and it breaks down, then you got to get out, guys. All right, I would have much rather had a couple $100 loss than a couple $1,000 loss by adding to a loser. And what's worse is I sized up, right? So, you know, instead of 200 or 300 shares, it got to the next support level, I added 500 shares there. It broke down a little more, I added 1,000. You know, now I'm into a backside move of a few thousand shares, okay? And it wasn't a good situation. So, you know, I make these videos to help you guys. You know, all traders struggle with the same things. Even professional traders struggle with the same things, right? But the better trader you are, the less you're going to make these mistakes, the more you're going to stick to the rules. You're going to follow the program, follow the plan, and when you're wrong, you get out. So that's it, guys. Don't let your bias get the best of you. Don't be too stubborn. Don't break your rules. Don't add to losers. Because more often than not, as you'll hear in a previous video I made, more often than not, you will take a loss, and it'll be a big loss. And regardless what happens days later, it's irrelevant. You know, I took the loss. So, all right, guys, hope this helps you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.